What is going on, everybody? This is the Frozen Taco, the Angriest Chicken Open, the final one of the Year of the Mammoth. I'm Willie Dills, and I'm here with not Joss Plays. Apparently, the overlay says Joss Plays, but that is not Joss Plays. That is one, the only Garrett Weinzero. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, dude. I thought about doing a Jocelyn impression, and I just figured I would sound like an idiot because I can't sound that nice, that kind, and that optimistic about the game.
Let me hear you say a boot. Let's hear one good a boot.
Oh, what are you talking about?
That was pretty good, man. That was pretty good. Nice and subtle, yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll fix that in the VOD for YouTube. But for now, whatever. Your Joss Plays. That's the only overlay we have available. But we'll make it work. So yeah. So if you're watching on Twitch, yeah, Garrett, aka Jocelyn Moffat. So we've had a really fun taco up until this point, and we've reached our final four. And the final four is Biovisionary versus the Word. That's the match that we will cast first. If they finish and the other match is still going on, we will switch over to Rebobson versus Leet 357. And all of these guys have had fantastic runs through the field. It's been a lot of fun kind of hanging out, watching everybody have a good time. And this is going to be good. I think we've got some really good players here. And I think it's all new people in the top four. So none of these players we've seen before. We
almost had Dice again. He came close.
You know, he tried to defend, but got knocked out in the third round by the Word, who is in the top four.
Yeah. It's impressive. I'm just impressed by the turnout today. Last couple of tacos have been a little player light, and we pretty much filled the bracket this time. Yeah,
we actually had 120 players registered. As far as people who actually showed up, it was a little closer to, I would say, around 90-ish or so. But that's to be expected. I mean, a lot of guys will, think that they can make it, and things come up last minute. So, but thank you everybody who did sign up. I'm going to go ahead and start jumping into this game. Looks like they are preparing to battle, and so we'll jump in and yeah. While I do that, I see that you just sent me something, so I'll try to fix the overlay while we're in the game.
I have many art files lying around.
Sweet.
Didn't know what you were missing.
So yeah, so we're waiting for the Word and Biovisionary to start their game. Looks like they are preparing. They are ready. They are jumping in. I do not know their classes. Well, I can look them up, and I will in a second. I do not know their decks. We don't actually accept deck lists, but because it would just be annoying to collect that many deck lists. But we will be able to see their classes and bands in just a moment, and it looks like they actually just got started. So here we go. Let's jump right on in to game number one. Again, these are best of fives. You bring 4 classes, you ban 1. And it's a conquest format. So once you win with a deck, that deck is out.
Yeah, I'm loading in right now. I can indeed see them. Oh, it looks like the Word is firing up that new Nemsy.
And here we go. Yeah, we got Nimsy on the bottom. That is the Word. Oof. And Rogue Biovisionary on the top.
Oh, the Word is going to be making friends with that Blood Reaver Gul'dan. He will not be playing that anytime soon.
And it looks like they are playing fairly similar decks as far as style is concerned. It looks like a Zoo deck versus a Tempo Rogue. So both players are going to be all about the board in this game.
Indeed they will. All about the board, no removal? I don't know. There's a joke in there, and I'm not clever enough to come up with one.
All right, I'm grabbing your image right now, so you go ahead and you talk about the game, and I'll grab this image and make it happen.
I will. The Word's opening hand is looking mighty awkward. I mean, he will be able to coin out that Darkshire Councilman next turn if he wants to, which is fine considering he's facing down a board of 2 1/1s at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, getting the pirate opener going really quickly is pretty important in any sort of tempo matchup. Like a lot of people think of these decks as aggro decks. They're really tempo decks, right? I mean, yes, they can kill you really fast, but for the most part, it's all about just building the board. They're not going to do a lot of burst damage out of hand. So getting that early damage lead and board lead is really important.
The only time they're going to kill you really fast in most scenarios is if you have just bricked on your draws. If you have no answers. Now, Biovisionary is going to be able to, if he wants to clean up this Darkshire Councilman with extreme ease. He has options at this point. He has 4 damage on board, plus he could hero power. He also has the backstab in hand, which is going to cost him no mana at all. So why not develop this Vicious Fledgling? Because if the word does not have an answer for it, which at the moment he does not, that's going to... we've all been staring down the barrel of a Vicious Fledgling before.
Yeah, and right now there's no direct answer for it, so it is going to connect with face. In fact, the word's even got a life tap because he only has 1 mana worth of cards that he can play. And I guess you just drop a 2/1 here. Maybe you just drop the patches and kill something.
Yeah.
Neither of these options look fantastic, I will say that.
No, it's not. He didn't. Patches is not what he was hoping to see. That's just insult to injury for this extremely clogged hand of the word.
Now, the problem for the word here, too, is that next turn is going to be another just drop a minion and pray. But once he gets to turn 5, he will have a proactive turn with the Doom Guard. It's just the problem is he also has Blood Reaver Gul'dan in his hand already. And it's always scary to drop a Doom Guard, discarding 2 cards, and one of them might be the most important card in the deck.
Although at the rate that he is getting smacked down, and let's face it, this Vicious Fledgling is going to start getting to evolve now, or adapt. Sorry, I've always said evolve. It's unlikely he might even make it to 10.
That is true.
He may just have to pull the trigger on that and hope for the best.
So Barnes comes down. Barnes is an interesting choice in this deck. Oh, there's Prince Keleseth. A little too late. I don't think it's going to do much to the board at this point, but it looks like he's thinking about just dropping it. Yeah, Crystal Weaver, much better option as it actually contests certain members of the board. But yeah, so the Barnes is an interesting choice in this deck, but it can sometimes pull things like the Cobalt Scalebane and immediately start to buff up the rest of your board, as well as it's just 2 minions in 1, right?
Yeah, that Vicious Fledgling is just going to win this game for Biovisionary if the word does not find some way to deal with it rather soon.
Yeah, it's coming back next turn. He wanted to potentially have the ability to smack it for 5 damage and then drop a Despicable Dreadlord, dealing the final 1 damage, but that is not going to be the case anymore, as it will now hit the board or hit the face 1 more time at least.
Yeah, if it does not pick up Wind Fury, which I've just been holding my breath, it hasn't already found it.
It always happens eventually, right? Now I think Biovisionary is wondering, do I need to worry about this 5/4, or should I just send all this damage face? I think he's found the place. It is face. Oh no, he's actually going to start making. Okay, he's going to use the dagger plus the 3/1/1s to clean that up.
He has life to spare.
That's true.
Those 1 attack minions have really done about all they're gonna do. I think he's fine.
So
I think the word, however, is not fine.
I don't see an out here. It appears to me that this is going to be over, and yes, the word is going to concede. That is going to do it for game number 1, and we are going to move into game number 2.
Yeah, we are. He's going to be waiting for the next game to start. He's doing battle with a friend. Hope is this still bugged out? Am I going to have to respectate? He's going to be waiting for the next game to start.
You shouldn't, I don't believe. And hold on, let me just transition over here. Oh, look, it says Garrett Art now. Wow,
hey,
we did it.
It's me. Yeah.
I don't think you should have to respectate. I think if you just chill for a while, it should take you right into the next game. But yeah, so that means that the word is down. But not out. You know, the word has been in the situation. You don't get through, 6 rounds of tournament play without having to deal with a little adversity. And the word has had a fantastic record throughout this tournament. So I don't think he has anything to worry about. And this Zoo deck, look, he just got kind of outdrawn in that game, right?
Oh, he really did. We're looking at he was on at 3 mana. He had the tap down to 1. He gets patches off the top. It's not what he was looking for.
Yeah. Let's update that score real quick. That is 1-0 for Biovisionary. And now he's switched to his Druid deck, which appears to be, from what I can tell, just a Jade Druid, which is a strong deck, but can get overrun by some of these early tempo board-centric decks. Especially if you don't draw things like Spreading Plague, right? Spreading Plague is one of your, big tools to combat the wide board states that everybody else puts on. I'm getting asked what the bans were in chat. Let me go ahead and check it out and see if I can look that up. So it looks like Biovisionary had his Priest banned, and the word had Rogue was banned for the word. So both these players with some pretty meta picks as far as bans are concerned. Not a hugely fast start for the word here, but He's got you know, a pretty nice curve going on. He can fit some 1-drops in with these Serenite Chain Gangs on turn 5. Should be able to have a minion on board by the time it gets to Bone Mare. So, and Biovisionary hasn't ramped up in any huge way. He finally got his first bit of ramp going there with the Jade Blossom.
Yeah, absolutely. This is looking a lot better for the word given last game for sure. So there goes out one of the 2 Chain Gangs on turn 4.
And there is the Spreading Plague, by the way. This is maybe one of the most important cards. And, of course, Nourish, he's going to always go for mana. You know, these days, Druids never draw cards with Nourish anymore. Card might as well say, Nourish, gain 2 mana crystals.
Unless you're already at 10 mana.
Now, I'm curious to see if the Word decides to slow down a little bit and maybe do a tap plus a few 1-drops, or if he goes for Serenite Chain Gang number 2. He does tap. I kind of like this. He's far enough ahead that he doesn't really need to freak out and go crazy. He has a lot of 1-drops he can filter into the board here and put a lot and still be putting a lot of pressure on.
And he's actually putting more attack on the board by playing those 1-drops than by dropping the Serenite Chain Gang, which he's going to want if that Spreading Plague comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the Spreading Plague hits the board next turn. The Serenite Chain Gangs, even together, don't even kill one single 1/5. So he needs to be able to, you know, kind of ensure that he can at least bust through a little bit of that. Now, Biovisionary's kind of got all the tools to get back into the game, though. Double Swipe, Ultimate Infestation, Spreading Plague. These are the cards that give Druid time to start ramping up those Jades.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's both players are looking solid right now. Like they both have decent hands.
It's hard to say right now who's definitely ahead. Obviously, the Word was doing great, but now 5 1/5s hit the board, and that is just a lot of power in reverse. Now, I'm curious to see if he decides to just go for a Doomguard, as it does clean up a 1/5 instantly. It also could potentially discard a Blood Reaver Gul'dan, so that's always a little scary, but I think it's worth in this situation. He does go for it.
Too. Awesome. He does not lose the Blood Reaver Gul'dan. Obviously, I think he would have rather gotten rid of the upside down card I can't read, the 1-drop.
Well, he also, yeah, the Angriest Veteran, though, can still come in handy here. He can actually use it to get through an extra one of these 1/5s. He can use it right now on a Serenite Chain Gang if he wants to. Although he also just has enough with the 3/2 and the other 2/3. But he's got Bone Mare coming up next turn. He didn't discard the other really important card, which is Bone Mare.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm experiencing a wonderful bug where I can't hover over anything to make it larger.
Yeah, I get that. So I've noticed that only happens in Druid games.
Okay.
Yeah. So go figure. But yeah,
hey, that's something.
Druids are historically the most buggy spectator class in the game, by quite a long shot.
That was a valuable swipe.
That was a really, really nice swipe. And here, a Big Game Hunter just coming down as a 5-mana 4/2. Interesting tech choice to have the Big Game Hunter in the deck here, and he's maybe going to regret it when this Bone Mare hits, because that would have been a nice answer to the Bone Mare. Although he will have Ultimate Infestation, which cleans up Bone Mares real nice. He could also just use that plus the 4/2 to clean up the 9/8. Yeah, and that's what we're going to see.
Exactly what he's going to do. So the Bone Mare will live to nay another day.
Yeah, but Bone Mare is facing down, you know, the 5/5 on Biovisionary's side. This is when these Jade Druids just really turn the whole game around. When they get that, you draw 5, gain 5, make a 5/5. It's a ridiculous card.
That Keleseth has not found its way into the Word's hand at the right point for either of these games.
Don't think a Patches has been played yet, though, so this will be a 3/3 Patches, which is very nice. Tapping last. Just got to point that out.
He's gonna have to clear with the Patches, and
yeah. Now the question is, do you clear the 5/5? I mean, your opponent's at 31 life, so you're not close to killing them. I think you still have to play for the board at this point. This is a tough call. I think you probably just trade with the 5/5 because the 5/5 will kill your 2/4 for free. Either way, you're not necessarily playing around or into the second Spreading Plague, because it's going to be 4 1/5s regardless. Yeah, I like that. I like that trade a lot.
Yeah. He's thinking about the Jade Behemoth, which would leave him 4 on hand, so he could also drop the Jade Spirit behind it, or just Jade Blossom for another Golem.
It depends how much he wants to use this turn to ramp Jades. So yeah, he's going to maybe, yeah, he's going for, instead of only ramping twice, he's going to ramp 3 times because he gets the Blossom and the Jade Idol.
I think that's a smart idea, because if there's only one downside for Biovisionary at this moment, is that his Jade counter was relatively low on the stat scale.
Sure.
And he's sitting, as you mentioned already, on 31 health. He's not staring down the barrel of a very strong board over on the Word side.
So the interesting thing about playing against Jade Druid is a lot of times in the early game, they are just ramping and just trying to essentially protect their own face. And it's not really until, you know, they've ramped up to turn 10 and maybe even gotten one Ultimate Infestation and that they really start to ramp the Jades up now. It used to be that they spent all the early turns either ramping or building Jades, and they've kind of just changed the entire way they play the game now. It's less of a tempo deck and more of like a control deck that just suddenly out-tempos you in the late game.
Yeah.
This is tough because that Doomguard seems really nice, but if you discard this Blood Reaver Gul'dan, that might be your win condition. Oh my god!
Oh my lord! So lucky!
Alright, so you're saying there's a chance.
RNGesus is on his side.
Now he has to decide how he wants to make these trades. I like doing this, and I think I just send the rest of this damage face.
He agrees with you, because that's exactly what he did. Now, even if, I mean, the Primordial Drake's going to come down, but what does that do? It removes 4/4 worth of stats.
Well, it allows him to get through the taunt as well, so it trades off the 6 damage. But here comes the Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
Sets him up for a full clear.
Blood Reaver Gul'dan is going to just go ahead and reflood the board with 2, count them, 2 Doomguards. And I think he's got a bunch of Flame Imps as well. Let's see, how much does he get back here? It's quite a bit, I know that. There you go, 2 Doomguards, a Malchezaar's Imp, and a Voidwalker. Not bad, not too shabby. Unfortunately, Spreading Plague number 2 is about to come down and just put up a massive amount of walls again.
But in terms of removal, Biovisionary is sitting on 1 swipe that, even after the Doomguards trade in to some of these 1/5s, still will not remove Doomguards unless they're targeted directly.
Interesting play there. He played the Jade Spirit, which didn't actually make a Jade. And I'm curious to know, I don't know the science on this, does that actually up your Jade counter? I'm actually not sure about that.
I'm not sure either.
So the Soulfire will happen without a discard, and I think you probably use it on the 2/3, but he's going to go ahead and do it on a 1/5.
So that's, yeah, but
oh, that makes sense. He's got the 1/3, yeah.
He has 2 1-attack minions right now.
Yeah, that's true. And now he can start, I mean, this hero power for Blood Reaver Gul'dan is incredibly powerful. So Chad is saying that yes, that does count. I've actually never come across that situation in a game, and I've played against this deck and as this deck quite a bit. So that's interesting that I've never seen that before. It is quite a bit of work, but
you can play it this long and still see new things.
Yeah, yeah. So the problem here is that there's a swipe in Biovisionary's hand, and now a bunch of his minions do have one health.
Yeah, both Flame Imps.
Yeah, and he can also make this attack first.
He's going to go for the 2/4. That's, well, I mean, it sets him up for the trade.
Yeah, it makes him able to trade with the rest of the
Word head is now in a top decking situation.
Yeah, and can no longer life tap. So the Word is in a really tight spot all of a sudden. South Sea Captain, not great. Looks like he's just going to start hitting the face and hope that somehow dealing 3 and gaining 3 a turn will get him there, but I don't think he's winning this race against a 5/3, a 6/6, and a 2/2.
No, and looking at Biovisionary's hand, he's got a Jade Behemoth, which is gonna spawn out a 7/7.
Yeah,
plus
this was
Nourish in hand.
This was, I mean, it is a tough matchup if you can't get enough pressure that they can't deal with early on. So basically, the main thing that Zoo deck needs to be able to do is avoid Spreading Plague. If they can avoid Spreading Plague, then they can actually just run you over. But he faced both of them, and that's going to do it. The Ward is going to go ahead and call it a day on that game. And that means that Biovisionary is going to go up 2-0 on the cusp of moving into the finals. And I'm going to check in on the other game right now. Rebobson is up over Leet 357, 1-0. So if this match finishes faster than that one, and it looks like it might, as we're already 2 games in and one player's up 2-0. If this match ends first, we will jump into the other match and watch the rest of that one.
Yeah, these are going relatively quick.
So let's see. What does Biovisionary have remaining? So he's one with Rogue. He's got a Mage. So Mage is definitely a deck that can stall out a little bit. And looks like the word is going to stick with the Warlock. He's got faith that he can find a victory with this Zoo deck.
He's also got another awkward hand. I'm expecting to see a lot of mulligans over on the side of the word.
Yeah, I like this keeping the captain because you mulligan away the patches. You're generally not going to get it back, and the captain's the best way to get the patches out.
Yeah. Comes
out as a 2/2 with charge.
Not to mention you have the coin, so that's a turn 2 captain.
So this is Quest Mage here for Biovisionary. He's playing Open the Waygate. Opens with the Babbling Book, even though he had the mana to open the Waygate there, but wasn't going to start doing any spell casting yet. So I like this play. Probably taking the Frostbolt here. Molten Reflection is another combo piece, but he'll find those combo pieces if he can control the board, and Frostbolt helps control the board.
And he has a Blizzard and a Pyroblast sitting in his opening hand. I would want the Frostbolt.
Yeah, but goes for the Molten Reflection. Interesting play there. So any face damage that the Quest Mage does to you is just negligible. Doesn't mean anything. So coining out a Tar Creeper. No, he's going to go for the South Sea Captain. I mean, either way, you're doing a 3-drop into another 3-drop. I like going this way, too, because I think the way to beat... He doesn't know, actually, it's Quest yet, but he probably has an inkling. But the best way to beat Quest Mage is kill them quickly, right? Don't let them collect the combo that consists of 5 cards, right?
Yeah. Now, Biovisionary was hovering over to open the Waygate there, but...
I like opening the Waygate here. He can open and then he can do a little ping. Start setting up for maybe a ping on the next turn. You know, taking the Molten Reflection just means he's getting one combo piece in his hand now, out of the way. Doesn't have to draw into it, right?
Yeah.
Now another captain comes down, and this is quite a lot of face pressure here. And we're a few turns away from Biovisionary being able to throw that Blizzard down and stop this damage. There is another way to stop the damage, though. So Frost Nova, that's a pretty important draw. You can actually close the gap a little bit by just not allowing these minions to hit face for a few turns.
Yeah, the brakes are going to be hit.
But here comes a Crystal Weaver. It's going to buff another minion, and I think we're going to see all of this go upstairs. The 1/1 that's on board pretty much means absolutely nothing. So I'd like to see all of this damage go to face. And looks like that's what the word is decided on as well.
I mean, get it in while you can.
Okay. He waited on the Malchezaar Zim just for a second. Oh, and there's a Doomsayer draw. That is pretty massive here. That could potentially allow him to turn this back around.
That lets him hold on to his Blizzard, so even if the word somehow creates a board after this, he can freeze it one more time.
And I don't see any way in this deck outside of... So yeah, just going to go ahead and Soulfire face. With a Malchezaar Zimp still on the board, he'll draw into another card. He could tap as well. Maybe find the second Soulfire. All right, Lich King instead.
Oh, that would have been nuts if he found that.
I like the sequencing, though.
I think the word's earned it. I think he's earned that stroke of luck,
sure,
given the way the first 2 games went.
I really like his sequencing, though. He did the first Soulfire. Like, he did Soulfire before doing the tap. So he didn't, you don't tap first, because what if you draw the second Soulfire and then you discard it? So he played that correctly. I really like that. And I think we're just going to see him put the most possible pressure on, which technically would be the Cobalt Scalebane. But thinking about playing the Dreadlord instead, yeah, I like the Scalebane a lot better. It puts the most possible pressure on the board on this turn. And there is now Frost Nova and a Blizzard, so there are 2 more freeze effects. Archaeologist will find him.
There's the other ice block.
The other ice block, yep. This is why this is one of the most annoying decks to play against, because you have to kill them many, many times.
Yeah. If you listen to the podcast, my opinion of mages is well known.
Yeah, not a big fan.
No, I'm not. I believe I have the least number of wins with mages.
So the Lich King is a pretty good card, though, in this deck, because it can sometimes find you Death Coil, which deals 5, right? So it's another way to, just deal that damage. It can find you Frostmourne, which deals 15, right? There's a Doomguard, though. And
yeah, but I think he still might want to play the Lich King. He's not at risk of dying. He's on 27 health, and he's behind a 7 health taunt.
That's true, and there's only 14, or there's still 14 cards left in the. Nope, but he wants to pop this block now. I don't disagree with this play. I think if you can pop the block, you just do it, right?
It's fair enough.
Both plays definitely have merit, but the Lich King isn't necessarily going to get you the card you want, and if you can actually just pop the block, you usually just want to do that as quickly as you can. And Biovisionary is currently out of freeze effects, so he's going to have to play this ice block and then hope he draws into one more combo piece, I believe.
Yeah.
He needs one more combo piece here.
What's the book give him?
And then also needs to start casting all these spells because he's at 0 of 6 as far as opening the Waygate.
Yeah.
So this looks actually pretty good here for the Word. He's going to pop the block at the lowest possible health total, which is 2. And now I think the question is, do you even start committing to this board even more? Does it matter? Is there anything that playing more minions this turn does for you? I don't think so. Yeah, maybe one more, but I don't think you start loading the board up just yet.
No, I wouldn't throw my Darkshire down and then start giving him a bunch of buffs, for example.
Yeah, because if one more big board clear happens, you need some reload in your hand, right? So cleans up a few more minions, and basically now, Biovisionary needs to draw into one more combo piece or a freeze effect, and I'm not seeing it, so it might be Pyroblast Your Own Face time.
Oh, created by Babbling Book.
And there it is, so the Word gets on the board with a big victory over the Quest Mage. That being said, the Quest Mage is a hard deck to beat 3 times in a row. At some point, you kind of feel like they're gonna get there, right?
Absolutely, and that's where in this point value where the Mage is the only deck left, I'd be sweating it a little bit in Word's situation.
Yeah, definitely. That's the task that is in front of him right now, and you gotta understand where you are. You have to beat this deck 3 times in a row. So your next class you pick doesn't necessarily matter, but generally what I like to do is pick the deck I think has the best chance to do the job. Because what I don't want to do, I'd rather get him to a point where at least you put it in their mind that they could get reverse swept, right?
Right.
I don't want to just put together my weakest deck and say, hey, maybe I win, maybe I don't, but let's just get it over with. I'd rather, I think from a strategical standpoint, just try to get the job done and then take it to the weaker matchup in Game 5. And here we go into game number 4. We've got an aggro druid with Snow Flipper Penguin against this Quest Mage. I think this is exactly the deck I was talking about.
Yeah. You're going to see a very different type of druid play from the Jade that we saw at a Biovisionary a couple games back.
Yeah, this is just get stuff on the board, hit the face a bunch, and force the Mage to be able to deal with it. I think you probably hold back on the Snow Flipper Penguin so you can play it next turn with Marquee Asheraj. It's one of the cool things about the interaction of having Snow Flipper Penguin, because not only is it another minion you can play on like turns where you play Power of the Wild or Mark of the Lotus, but you can play it on turn 2 with a Marquee Asheraj, draw a card and play a 3/3. It's pretty nice.
Yes, it is. And it's looking like exactly what he's going to do. He's got both Power of the Wilds in his hand. Oh, he's just going to go for a board buff here. I like that.
I like this too. This is just apply as much pressure as possible here. And again, I think you ignore this 1/1. I like okay, I don't mind this trade, but I also just like doing 4 to the face here.
Yeah, if you're gonna trade, do it with the higher health minion, so you don't set up for a trade against the Mage's hero power. But well,
it protects your next turn where potentially they would have just used the 1/1 to kill a 2/2 off. Yeah. So you take away one of their possible outs. This is a nice draw here too. It gets the captain with 2 pirates on board. And now deciding whether he wants to kill this guy. And I think again he's trying to protect a high-value minion in that South Sea Captain.
This is what I like to see. I probably would have just Mark of Yasharaj that next turn because it was just in my head, but he took a second, he breathed, he saw what card came off the top, it was a captain, and he realized he was going to get more buff power out of that.
Yep. And now Biovisionary is forced to think about just using a Doomsayer just to soak damage, not to clear the board.
Yeah, and I would be tricked into thinking that's relatively safe too, because if he had a Mark of Yashiraj, I would think, well, maybe he would have used it by now. But the Mark's going to come out and make it an even easier trade.
Ooh, Galactic Crawler can't really be played here. He doesn't want to eat his own pirates.
No.
But you could continue to just buff the hell out of your board. I like this a lot. He's going to have to invest 8 damage into this 0/7, but still gets 9 to the face.
Right, I mean, when he passes turn, his opponent's going to be sitting on 4 mana with a coin. Even if he had the Blizzard, he couldn't cast it.
So he'd have to have exactly second Doomsayer and the Frost Nova with the coin. That's a lot to ask for, so I like forcing him to have it here. Biovisionary will be able to stop the damage for at least 1 turn. Let's see if he goes for the draw. I like taking the draw because that is what your deck wants to do, right? Is draw into your deck. Yes, and that's what he goes for. Another Galactic Crawler. The problem, see, here's the thing. A lot of people talk about Galactic Crawler being good in pirate decks, but you're only gaining 1/1. And unless you're killing a 1/1, and then you're making just a net gain of 0, I don't really see why people thought that was going to be so cool.
I think it's good in a ladder situation when you think, especially, you're going to be running up against a lot of mirror matches. If you're running up against other aggro druids that are also opening with a pirate opener, Galactic Crawlers are disgusting. But you are in a tournament situation here. I don't think you're going to go up against a lot of other aggro druids.
Yeah, but Galactic Crawler is still also a 2/3 beast, so that's why it's in the deck. It's just now you see why it can be a dead card a little bit when you're the one with the pirates.
But also, how bad is it that the Word cannot play it? If he can't play it because he has too many valuable pirates on board right now, it's not really the worst place to be in.
That's fine. So here, I don't even know if this Mark of the Lotus even matters. You can pop the block, I believe, at 1. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And Biovisionary again in a really tough spot. His first block is already popped. He doesn't have the second one in hand yet. If he plays something like Kabbalah's Tome to try to find one, he uses 5 of the 7 mana he has. That's not going to be enough. So basically needs to draw the second block off the top and then find a whole bunch of stall right afterwards.
Yeah. I think we might see this go to all 5 games, Dills. I want to see it to go to all 5 games. Oh, but a Primal Ordeal Glyph that gives him a chance.
This is always the card that... Oh, Flame Strike doesn't do it.
No.
It doesn't kill. It doesn't. These minions have been buffed too many times.
My goodness, after a really rough opening of the tournament for the Word, it looks like he's going to be able to reverse sweep to a tie. And we're going to game number 5.
Yeah, Biovisionary is going to just throw down a whole bunch of stuff for the fun of it, but finally decides, okay, Honorable Sudoku pings himself, and there we go.
Honorable Sudoku.
We are going to game number 5.
I haven't heard that in so long. I have dishonored my family. I'll sit here and play a puzzle game.
All right, so here we go into game number 5, and it's going to be, I believe, Paladin? Yes, Paladin versus this Quest Mage. So one more game. That's all both of these players need. Let's get a quick update on what's going on the other semifinal match. Looks like Ree Bobson has moved into the finals, beating Elite 357 3-0. So we will see Ree Bobson in the finals. He is waiting now for the winner of this game and this match.
All right, final game between the Word and Biovisionary. Good luck and have fun, gentlemen.
So this is another good matchup, I think, for the Word. If he's got another an aggro deck, an aggressive tempo-based deck. The kind of deck that can apply enough pressure.
Look at that starting hand.
Yeah. He's going 1 drop into one of the best 2 drops. And starts with the 1/3. I don't mind this because generally the first minion you're going to see is a Babbling Book. Yeah, and there is the Babbling Book. More Galactic Crawlers than any man can handle. I guess the question here is if you play... I'd play Galactic Crawler here first because then you can go Grimscale Chum into Rockpool Hunter on the next turn, and that is what the Word decides to do.
So he's going to go ahead and open that Waygate. Thinking about coining a 2-drop. Going to go into the Novice Engineer, see what he gets.
Yeah, I think Biovisionary needs to speed up a little bit in this game because the last few games he just has been overrun in the early part. And there it is, Grimscale Chum directly into Rockpool Hunter, and he does get the buff on the Rockpool Hunter. I like buffing the 1/2 here. Yeah, and that's what he goes for. Because buffing the 1/2 means that he immediately gets this damage this turn. Buffing the 2/1 means that you could essentially protect it from a ping. But, you know, if Biovisionary spends this turn pinging, that means he's not doing much else, right? And I'm totally fine with that.
Exactly. And then if your whole board gets Frost Nova'd, well, it didn't matter that you buffed anyway, because there's another turn where you're not getting that damage immediately.
Yeah. So the coin is gone. So I think if you're the Word, I don't mind just busting out the Grimscale Chum this turn. But he's going to just go ahead and hero power and get some value out of that. Deals 7 to the face. Again, putting on quite a bit of pressure. We do see that Biovisionary does have the Frost Nova Doomsayer, and he's going to save that for turn 5. So this might be the turn to just drop an Ice Barrier and soak some damage. He's also considering maybe fireballing something. You don't often actually see Fireball in these decks because it doesn't actually you know, do much as far as like board wipes and stuff. But I can't remember. Did he get that off of the... He might have gotten that off of the Babbling Book, so wouldn't surprise me.
I cannot remember either. I'm not running my my Hearthstone overlay. So
if you are expecting to get Frost Nova Doomsayer next turn, this would be the turn to Megasaur and try to find either plus attack, +1/+1, or Wind Fury. Because you definitely don't want your Finja on board and then they drop that Frost Nova Doomsayer.
Oh, there's
Finds
the
Wind Fury. And definitely got to take that now. Get the damage out of this board while you can.
Yeah. I mean, Ice Barrier, that stinks to see, but you're going to have to go through that 8 damage at some point or another.
And all your damage with this deck does come from minions, so you're not going to be able to bypass it. But this is still, I mean, this is, you know, just doubling the damage of his board this turn. And gets down to 13 for Biovisionary. Here comes the Frost Nova and the Doomsayer. Excuse me. He does also pick up a Blizzard to follow this up with, so...
That is very good for Biovisionary. Going to allow him to stall out. Although, as we saw last game, all the stall in the world was not quite enough. Although the Word is down to only 2 cards in hand.
Yeah. 2 cards in hand, but...
He'll pick up a third.
But, you know, a lot of potential to reload the board with this Finja. The problem for the Word is that Finja needs to kill a minion. And Biovisionary's deck doesn't often play very many minions.
No, he's sitting on 2 Sorcerer's Apprentice. But, Dills, I ask you this. Would you play a Sorcerer's Apprentice if Finja was already on the board?
Hell no. You wouldn't play him anyway because that's your combo, right? So, those don't come down until it's time to die. The only minions you ever get to kill are Arcanologists and Babbling Books. That's pretty much it. And Novice Engineers. So this might actually be... Biovisionary might have found enough time in this game just with that one successful Frost Nova Doomsayer combo. Now he just needs to find the rest of these combo pieces without the Word finding the ability to get this damage through.
That he is. However, think about what you just said, Dills. With just that one full clear of a 7-minion board.
And there's the Blizzard. There's no more freeze after this, so this is a pretty big turning. These 2 draws here. This draw for the Word, and that's a huge draw.
Ooh, Arthas off the top.
But this draw for the Word and this draw for Biovisionary are going to be massive. If he doesn't draw anything useful right now, this Kabbalist Tome is going to have to carry him.
That is the only time that the Mage player will see that much Frost on board and be unhappy about it. But Blizzard off the top.
Just as I was talking about how this was a really important draw. There it is, Blizzard off the top. He's able to also Fire Blast the Cobalt Scalebane. However, the bad news for Biovisionary is that the Word is going to be able to anti-magic shell this board. And that means the ping is not going to kill that Scalebane next turn. I think that is definitely the play here.
He will also be getting a second Death Knight card off of the Lich King. As nice as it was to halt this damage in its path, then he'll be getting more value off of that Lich King.
Yeah, he could find, like we said, he could find the 5 damage to face. He could find the weapon. He could also find he could grab a minion out of the deck, and maybe it's one of the combo pieces. There's lots of things that could happen here. Glacial Mysteries, Volcanic Potion, and Mirror Entity. None of these really do anything right now.
No, that's a pretty sad Kabbalist Tome.
He's going to go ahead and just play the Volcanic Potion just because, hey, I need to do some damage to these eventually. It also ups my counter on my Open the Way gate. But, wow, it's going to be a popped block here for sure. Doesn't even have to play another minion. And in fact, I don't think you do play another minion here. I think you just pop this block. You can pop it at 1 exactly with the 9 and the 3. Yep. And I think you can just sit on this. You might be considering dropping the Curator just because it does draw him some more cards. And that's what he does go for. So yeah, finds 3 more cards. That's nice to get a little deeper into your deck. Maybe he has some weapons too that give him the ability to do damage out of hand.
I mean, I want him to win with style points, so I want him to drop. Yeah, find an eye
the
for an
hydrologist. That's another point. If he finds, oh my God, no eye for an eye.
Nope. I mean, it was really just style points. I don't see. I mean, have we seen?
He does do this. Is a really cool play though. He drops it. He picks it immediately, drops it immediately, and says, "Well played." That's
Mind
bluffing
game.
the eye for an eye, right?
Absolutely.
Biovisionary says, "Hey, if you got it, you got it." Pings the face. It is not eye for an eye, however. And you know, let's see, 4 out of 6, 1, 2, 3 combo pieces. It's possible that it with a really perfect draw here, Biovisionary could complete the quest and start the combo off next turn, but the draw has to be perfect here.
Yeah, have we seen a second Frost Nova?
No. Oh, actually. No, oh, wait a minute. Wait, is this it?
Oh.
He can go Sorcerer's Apprentice, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
That'll be a
The question is,
discount.
he needs to complete the quest. So the next draw needs to be a spell. He needs to find like
Yeah, okay, no.
Nope, he's going to fireball his face. That was created from Babbling Book. He could have fireballed something else and then maybe drawn a Kabbalist Tome off the top and could have completed the quest in that turn. So there was still a chance there, but Biovisionary goes ahead and just kills himself, and that's going to do it. The Word reverse sweeping, moving into the finals. Amazingly played by both guys there, but stalled out with the Quest Mage deck there at the end. Fantastic job by the Word there. Really impressed with his poise not to just kind of give up and just continue to fight through. So he will be moving into the finals against Rebobson.
That was very impressive. I mean, that's what I want to see, right? You want to see it go to all 5 games, reverse sweeps. So exciting.
So I got to fix something in the bracket because it looks like they listed Biovisionary as the winner of that last game. And
luckily we were here to see it with our own eyes.
Not the case.
But very well played by Biovisionary as well. He was off to such a strong start, and as we said, that Quest Mage could have so easily, if it had drawn just a little bit different, picked up a win. I would have been, if I was in the Word's position, I would have been just sweating game to game, having to play 3 games against a Quest Mage and not drop a single one.
All right, so give me a second here because I got an admin issue I'm going to have to fix. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take a short break, and we'll be right back with the next match. I just have to fix, it looks like they entered the wrong score. So what we will do is we will take a moment here, probably about 2 or 3 minutes or so while I talk to the players, get them all ready. So Garrett, you can go ahead and mute yourself, and we'll come back in just a second here.
I'll be right back as well.
All right. All right, and we are back, and it is time for the finals. This is the Frozen Taco, the Angriest Chicken Open. My name is Willie Dills. That's Garrett Art, and we have a final 2 after 6 hours of play. We are here. It is Rebobson versus the Word.
It is. It was quite the semis you watched, man. The Word was down to match point 2-0 stacked up against him, and he managed to reverse sweep, tie it up, win it, and he's on to the finals to face off against Rebobson.
Yeah, and I haven't actually seen. Let me check out their bands and stuff here in a second. I told them to go ahead and start up when ready, so let me check and see if they are into their match. Looks like they are. We're gonna start spectating now. So the Word had his Druid band, and Rebobson had his Priest band. So I think that That kind of sticks with what the Word's strategy was before. I believe he also banned Priest in the last match. And away we go, moving into game number 1. We've got Warlock versus Rogue.
I'm going to spectate the Word first this time, have him at the bottom.
That's the order I have it in, so that way we'll have it in the same order here. So I got Rebobson on the top and the Word on the bottom, and again, the Word starting with the Zoo deck. Rebobson also starting with the Rogue deck. So this is exactly what we saw in the semifinals in game number 1. The same exact matchup. And in that matchup, the Rogue was able to outpace the tempo of the Zoo Warlock. And once again, we see the Rogue definitely does have the slightly better hand. Starts with the Pirate opener, and the Word has drawn Patches.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Word also has a Malchezaar Imp. Like, he's not just sitting on a bunch of dead drops, and also he's not sitting on the 10-drop Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
That's true. That is definitely true. Also, yeah, Malchezaar Imp is a pretty good way to contest a couple of 1-1s, so he goes ahead and drops those. Sorry, guys, for anybody in the stream. We had to reload just to make sure that our stream delay was working properly, because it felt like we were seeing things faster than we expected the stream delay to be. That being said, I don't think any of these players are stream sniping. We just want to make sure that nobody feels weird about any of that kind of stuff, especially for the finals. So,
absolutely. So he could coin up the Tar Creeper here. It looks like that is going to be what he'll be doing.
Yeah, I like this play a lot. I mean, he can tap in Patches if he doesn't draw in anything else on the next turn, which is not a terrible play. So. And here we see he's going to have to eat both Pirates and the Dagger Swing, but does get through the Tar Creeper cleanly. With South Sea Captain Despair. And Soulfire might actually be a decent little play here. Do you tap before you Soulfire, I guess is the question. You probably don't want to lose one of these 4-drops, right? You want something to play on 4.
Yeah, so I think you do it. I think you tap.
Oh, but now you've introduced Blood Reaver Gul'dan into the equation. Uh-oh.
That's the philosophical question, Dills. Do you tap before you Soulfire? I mean, I think you still Soulfire, right?
I think you do. I mean, you made the play with the intent of Soulfiring. Patches doesn't do anything. It is scary to potentially lose the Blood Reaver Gul'dan, but yeah, I don't know. This is a tough call. I mean, there's a couple of cards here you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose the Doomguard, and you don't want to lose the Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
You also don't want to lose both 4-drops, so...
Well, one of the 4-drops would be okay, because at least you have another one, right? At least you have a backup 4-drop.
Well, at this point, I feel if you Soulfired and Gul'dan didn't get discarded, that it would be a tell that Gul'dan is in the hand. He just let it rope.
Yeah, couldn't quite come to a decision there. And here's a really interesting card that came off of the Swashbuckler, a Summoning Portal.
Yeah, this is my favorite useless card.
You know, when it does come into play, like right now, it is super cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Off of random happenstance, it's exciting, right? You got this down. It's like, oh my god, my minion discount is bananas. Although that's also going to be his turn, so
I'm a little concerned that the Word hasn't done anything in quite a while. And yeah, I just saw that he went offline, so it looks like we've got ourselves a disconnect, which is very unfortunate. This is the finals, and this is super early on in the game, so I don't think that there's any way to call that one person definitely had this one. But the rules state, in the Taco rules, the rules state that if you disconnect and you can't get reconnected, that it's technically a loss for you. But I want to confer with the players and make like a ruling here. We also have in place that I can make admin rulings in situations such as this. So, you know, I think in that scenario, if he had Soulfired, there would have been a completely different situation going on there. So I'm going to make the call that it's going to be a regame here. Imagine a world, Garrett, where there was
Are you going to trigger me, Dills? It sounds like you're about to trigger me.
Imagine a world where there was a tournament client, and when one person disconnected, it paused the game state. And then when they reconnected, it just restarted the game state at the exact spot it was.
Just swell.
Yeah, no game's ever done that, so this is kind of stupid to even speculate on a feature that does that. But
yeah, yeah, wouldn't that be wonderful if a game, Dills, that has been in beta, has been playable since its beta, which started over 4 years ago.
There we go. All right, we are in. I'm going to switch. Oh, we were already in the game. Okay, never mind. I thought we'd switch to our faces, but no. We were just sitting on my screen there for a while. All right, so here we go. This is officially game number 1. Same exact decks here. I would say that the starting hands are fairly similar to the situation that we had last time, minus the pirate opener for Rebobson and minus drawing patches, but outside of that, I mean, it looks like Rebobson has a really strong opening hand once again. And the word, he does have the ability to now South Sea Captain into his patches.
Well, he will once he gets 3 mana.
Yes, which is this turn. But now the reverse South Sea Captain plus a backstab. And now the patches actually gets the value trade back. So this is one of the reasons why Rogue is so good at playing this tempo matchup. They have a 2-mana ping twice hero power, right? It is so powerful in the early game for managing the board.
I'm having to re-spectate. Mine's bugging out on me.
Ah, Hearthstone spectator mode. One day there will no longer be bugs. All right, so Voidwalker going to come down, it looks like, for the word. He's got the Dark Shadow Councilman out.
I can't see the game. I'm in it again, and it's just frozen again.
Uh-oh. It's definitely not moving very snappy for me, but at least I can see what's going on. The Rebobson's going to go ahead and coin out a Vilespine Slayer, which is a perfect answer to killing this Darkshire Councilman. Then he can go ahead and use the dagger plus the patches to finish off the Voidwalker. And has built himself a nice little tempo lead here. The word does have the ability to drop this Doomguard, though, and just get right back onto the board.
Yeah, he does. And looking at his hand, I wouldn't feel terrible about losing 2 of these cards. But he's looking like he's hovering over the Voidwalker. Which
yeah, he might be thinking Voidwalker.
About dropping the Crystal Weaver.
Yeah, Voidwalker Crystal Reaver is not terrible. The problem is that the Voidwalker, just dies to one of these minions plus another dagger swing.
Yeah, and you're only getting 2 damage into the face off of the Voidwalker, so there's not much loss for Rebobson with that dagger swing.
That being said, though, the 5/4 is really nice against a couple of 3-tack minions. So, and right now you see that Rebobson doesn't necessarily have, like some perfect answer to this situation. He wants to just drop a Cobalt Scalebane, but instead he has to kind of deal with this board first.
Then he does. My goodness, though, 2 Bone Mares in hand, and he's looking unthreatened moving into a world where he'll be dropping them.
He basically needs to ensure, and I think right now with the ability to just drop another Serenite Chain Gang next turn, it's going to be pretty hard not to have a minion on board going into turn 7 here. So Rebobson does look like he's in a pretty dominant position. I like putting this Angriest Veteran on one of these Serenite Chain Gangs, and that's what he goes for. Then you kill off the South Sea Captain. So strong play there by the word. He's just kind of right now they're just jockeying for position on the board.
Right. I mean, if you're going to trade with the Crystal Weaver anyway, the one attack is going to do nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So by throwing it on that Serenite Chain Ganger, it's forcing, no matter where this Vilespine attack. Well, I mean, it wouldn't hit to a health anyway. Never mind. Ignore me. I'm dumb.
Well, I mean, but it's going to do a little more damage back. I mean, it's not doing anything on the Crystal Weaver. So you might as well put it on something where it potentially does, maybe even if Rebobson, trades in an incorrect order or something like that, maybe he ends up taking a little extra face damage. Oh, Bone Mare draw right on 7. This could be the big turnaround. He can put that directly onto the Angriest Veteran, and then he can clear the entire board. And that is strong right there.
That was a hell of a top deck for sure. And pass it over. There is now no minion on board for Rebobson to put those Bone Mares on. And now...
Yeah, 2 turns ago, it would have looked like there's no way he was not going to have a minion for Bone Mare. But yeah, that's the power of not only going first, but being the first guy to play a Bone Mare, right?
Yeah. I'm just now realizing, because spectator mode, Rebobson has a Cruel the Unshackled in hand.
Which is Just the 9-mana 7/9, basically.
Yes.
I don't think there's a single demon in the rogue deck.
I mean, there was a chance he could have swashbuckled another
He
demon.
could find another, that's true. But then he'd have to get to a point where his deck doesn't have any duplicates in it. So, yeah, he's a little ways away from doing something there. I think you just have to drop a Scalebane here. Just take your medicine.
And dagger up and take a lot of damage to the face.
Well, it depends now whether...
I'd still control the board here.
Yeah, I think you're still controlling the board. I like just using up all your mana if you're the word. So drop the Scalebane, drop the Tar Creeper. Probably just make the trade with the Bone Mare rather than keep your Taunter minion. But he wants to keep all the health on board. I can see that reasoning as well. I mean, this is still very much a board game, right?
Absolutely. A lot of 5 health on every minion on board for the word. Lich King off the top. That's good for Rebobson. You're just looking at yet another awkward turn.
He needs to find something amazing. He wanted probably Death and Decay there, right? Just something to deal AoE damage, but Frostmourne might turn the tide enough, but it's hard because this 8/5 is just going to, just cut right through the Lich King, and it's still going to deal 6 to the face.
But yeah, now he's down to 11 health, and while Frostmourne you're looking at that with the 5 attack, thinking, oh, good, that deals with most of his board. You have no more health to trade with.
Yeah. So he just has to start putting some taunt minions in the way and hope that somehow he can turn the game back around. So this is definitely the best line here for Rebobson, but yeah, it was basically the Bone Mare. The Bone Mare is what did it.
It's game with the Doomguard.
Yeah, I believe this is it, right?
Yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah, because he gets through the 5, then he gets through the 5, and then he has 13, 14 damage remaining.
I mean, he could have drawn a card there. I don't... or no, never
mind. He couldn't actually have, because if he played it, he didn't actually discard any cards.
Right. But he could have played an imp on top of the Doom.
Sure. But yeah, that's going to do it. So game number 1 goes in the favor of the word, and that means we're moving on to game number 2. So unfortunately, this is okay. There's always going to be a little contention when one guy DCs and then ends up winning the game. But the fact of the matter was, in that game, we saw the board states. You can't say it was turn 4 or something like that. You can't say for sure that one player was definitely going to win that game, because before the Bone Mare came out in this game, I would have said Rebobson was definitely going to win the game, right? If you had told me on turn 5 or asked me on turn 5 who's going to win this game, it looked like Rebobson. And this is why you can't, this is why I want to make sure that I make that distinction here. That at that point in the game, I couldn't call it definitively for one player or the other. And we want to see these games play out. So I will say, though, that the word is out of free disconnects. If he disconnects again, it will be an auto loss. So hopefully the internet holds up and we don't have any more issues going through the rest of this finals. But I just want to throw that out there because I don't want to see anybody in the chat saying anything about, the guy who disconnected one game won. That shit happens.
So far, nothing in chat. Everyone seems to
we're 3 minutes behind,
enjoying the show.
Yeah, exactly. Just like to nip things in the bud, you know what I mean? But now we're going to go into game number 2. So that means the Warlock deck is gone for the word. And both players have fairly similar lineups. The main difference being that one player has Druid, Rebobson has Druid, and the word has the Paladin deck, which is, as we know, the Murloc sort of aggressive variant of Paladin. So it's really going to kind of come down to, I think, those two decks and which one of those kind of, has the advantage against the other guy's aggressive tempo-based decks. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I've always liked to call that version of the Paladin Murgle range.
Murgle range, sure. Yeah. I think I like just looking at the lineups. I think I like Rebobson's if it's just a Jade Druid. I really like that over the Paladin because, again, with the spreading plagues and all that kind of stuff, it's a really great way to kind of turn back those aggressive kind of tempo-based decks, find the time, and then just suddenly just swap the game state. So here we go into game number 2. Rebobson sticks on his rogue, and the word switches to his rogue, so we've got a mirror match going here.
That we do. Some decent openers for both players. I think I would like the Swashbuckler better as an opener for the word because it will draw him his patches.
He also has the ability to play a Swashbuckler and backstab this 1/2 if he wants to do the kind of ultimate tempo play here. And with the coin, he has the ability to then coin the SI7 agent on the next turn and just kind of really maintain a stranglehold on the board. We'll see if he decides to use this backstab on this 1/2. I think I like doing it.
With you, Dills.
I think I like doing it because, you know, the early game, if you can gain the advantage in the early game, it just snowballs in this matchup. So here we see Rebobson just going to go ahead and utilize the dagger here to start chipping away at these 1/1s. Going to take a little damage in the process, but it's not the worst thing ever.
It's
So
fine.
that's an interesting draw. Yeah, he can now drop the South Sea Captain and get not only a little bit of extra damage, but take the patches out of dagger range.
I think Rebobson not developing minions made that decision even easier for the word as well.
Mm-hmm. That being said, a backstab, an SI, and a dagger hit. And Rebobson sequences this properly. Takes 1 damage instead of taking 3. And there you go. Power of SI7 agent right there. And suddenly now the word, he's forced to play the South Sea Deckhand with a dagger to get back. But the problem is you're just responding. You're not building, right? So what he could do actually here is hold back the South Sea Deckhand and hope to do a South Sea Deckhand plus SI7 agent on turn 4.
Which, looking at the state of his hand, I would lean that direction.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best option here, because right now there's nothing to do on turn 4. If he were to just go ahead and use the deckhand now, I actually really like this play too. Just go ahead and hit the 3/2 now, because it's going to be what you're going to do eventually anyway, right? You're going to take that damage regardless. So do it now. That way you have the free dagger swing next turn to use on something else. So I really like that play by the word. That's really heads up there.
Yeah, it feels bad. It feels extremely passive. But when your hand is nothing but 5 drops otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, it's like that damage was going to happen regardless, because you're going to have to use the dagger this turn anyway, right? So a lot of players, though, they don't want to take the damage. But what happens is you end up now essentially wasting a potential dagger swing here. So now you can decide to, you know, use this, like, depending on what would have happened. Obviously, in this situation, he's not going to be using the dagger on anything, because they both have 2 health. But there's definitely many scenarios where he'd be facing down, you know, another Swashbuckler or something like that. That dagger swing would have actually mattered quite a bit. Or something with 3 health. So Rebobson's going to be able to clean the board back up and play a Cobalt Scalebane, and that means that he's putting quite a bit of pressure on the board.
That is the strongest little flame elemental you've ever seen.
This is tough because playing this Keleseth, it improves everything after this, but it does nothing for right now.
No, it doesn't. I think you have to play the Cobalt Scalebane again. Feels bad, but probably the correct call.
I think that was definitely the correct call there. And now with the Flame Elemental plus the Vile Spine, and suddenly Rebobson looks to be potentially running away with this game. And here you see again, this is the power of going first, especially in these matchups, is you are the one kind of forcing the other person to always be responding to your plays. And you know, in the other scenario, when you're going second, it's just you're always playing catch up, always playing catch up. All your minions land second; they don't get to attack until the other guys have already attacked. It's just a hard position, even as powerful as the coin may be.
Absolutely right. That was tough. So the word is going to scoop there, and we're going to be moving on to game number 3. It is now tied up 1-1 between these two players.
And now we've seen, so both of the decks that the players opened with have both now gotten wins. Those decks are now both out of the way, right? So I think both players probably expected that they were going to get wins with those decks. You generally, in a tournament, a conquest style tournament, you open with your strongest deck because you just want to get the first win out of the way. You got your strongest deck. You know it's going to have to match it. It's going to have to get a win at some point. Might as well get that first win right away and kind of move on to the other deck. So now they've both done that. And now it's basically just a best of 3 with their probably what they would consider their 2 weaker decks.
Yeah, I mean, it puts you in a much better headspace when you've got a point up on the board.
Sure.
I mean, the word did pull off a reverse sweep, and that is awesome and is one of the most exciting things to see. But if you're actually sitting there in that seat, in that position, you don't want to be sitting there down 0-2 to your opponent.
No, absolutely not. So let's see what Rebobson goes with here. His rogue is gone now. I would expect, if I'm Rebobson, I expect the word to queue up the rogue again. That's where I would be thinking, is that he probably wants to continue on with the rogue. So I want to take the strongest possible deck I have against that. And if it's his warlock, if he's playing Zoo, as we saw, Zoo has the ability to beat that rogue deck. So that's exactly what we're going to see here. Rebobson queues up with the Zoo warlock.
Yeah, the word most likely going to be throwing away these 5 drops. Keep himself that backstab.
Yeah, and that's a really, really useful tool when you're playing against Zoo, because you know what Zoo likes to play on turn 1 is
2 help minions.
Yeah, a flame imp. And you just turn that board state completely around. Now, here's an interesting scenario I see a lot of players struggle with on the ladder is when you have the South Sea deckhand on 1, do you play it? Because the Swashbuckler, you always just kind of drop that. You get a card, you put a 1/1 on, and you get your patches out. But if you're like, your deckhand is a useful tool later on. It opens up combos for you. It's a 2 damage minion with charge. It's not as easy of a call. So he does decide to go for it.
Well, he has both South Sea deckhands in his hand as well. If he had just one of them, I think it's a much more difficult call because of the combo activation that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But when you have both in your hand at the start, you've got a backstab. Next turn, you can dagger up and play a backstab to control the board. You just drop it, get your patches on board.
Yeah, I like it. It's like, let's get the pressure going early. Warlock, one of their biggest tools is being able to life tap. The more damage you do to their face, the less likely they are to feel comfortable life tapping. So yeah, I think that was definitely a really strong play. I think we're going to see a coin into a captain here, although the Tar Creeper also makes a lot of sense. The problem is if you don't remove one of these minions with the captain, a South Sea captain could come down for the word, and then that doesn't make your Tar Creeper nearly as effective.
He opts for the Tar Creeper.
So he could play a captain here. The unfortunate thing about the captain here is that it actually still requires both of these minions to kill. So I don't actually mind just dropping the Tar Creeper and taking a turn off here.
Yeah, that's fine. The word has proved himself to be a patient player.
Sure. Yeah, both players have actually done a lot of really, really correct sequencing and being patient, holding cards back until the right moment. Here you see the word. He's going to go ahead and put that attack in again. Something I think a lot of players are hesitant to do.
You could argue it might be a tell to show that you have South Sea captain waiting in the wings, but
possibly. But also, it just might show that you're going to do like the deckhand plus the patches plus another dagger hit or something like that, right? So now we see a Cold Blood drawn. This is an interesting draw, and I'm not sure. I think I kind of like just using the deckhand plus the dagger to get through, and then maybe just putting the Cold Blood on my patches and smashing face. Just
That's
getting
what I'm
aggressive
thinking as well. With Cold Blood, it's a funky card for Rogue, right? It's 1 mana, so you think, oh, combo enablers. Well, no, it has a combo on itself. You don't necessarily want to use it as the first card in a sequence of play.
Well, here's actually, I think, a better line that the word has found, which is put the Cold Blood on the Tar Creeper, then you can use the deckhand to clean off the captain, and your dagger will kill the patches, and you are in a much better position. So yeah, I really like this line here.
I am seeing why these players are in the finals, because that is not a play I would have made.
No, I was looking at, just dealing a whole bunch of face damage. So yeah, I really like that play a lot. And now Rebobson is stuck just playing catch-up and hoping that this Doomguard... Now, Doomguard is a great way to get the board back, but he's pretty far behind at this moment.
That he is. Now, this is a bit awkward for the word, although his board is looking mighty fine.
Well, yeah, he can go with the South Sea again.
Clear the Voidwalker with your captain.
Yeah, and then still has the extra damage on his pirates, so he can decide to either use the patches plus dagger or just use the deckhand. I kind of like patches plus dagger because then you just keep smashing face with your deckhand, but he's going to go ahead and use the deckhand to make it a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, minor choice of minor difference in opinion there for sure.
Yeah, I mean your board is slightly weaker, but you. No, it's interesting. I think it's probably correct to use the patches plus dagger there, but problem here is now the Doomguard just straight up dies to the 7/2 Tar Creeper. So that Yeah, that cold blood was incredibly powerful in this situation.
This guy's toast.
Absolutely was. It really just turned on the pressure, turned on the damage. The Word's just going to hammer it home, and looks like he's going to pick up game number 3.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing a way out here, even with the Voidwalker, the Soulfire. Could kill the captain. I believe he still has, with the Bone Mare, plenty of damage.
That he does, moving into turn 7.
It technically has the damage on board, right? Because the 3/3 goes through, and then so he had the damage on board, and that means that the Word is going to go up 2-1, and he needs one more victory here to seal this. But look, Rabobson is definitely not out of this match. There is always, if he wins this game, this single game of Hearthstone, it is now suddenly just a game 5, right? So, this is by no means, a super huge advantage. All you need to do is think about winning this particular game, and then suddenly everything is throw it all out the window, right? You just go to a game 5. Let's see, what is remaining now for the Word? Just the Paladin, I believe, right?
Yes. So we're going to see that Murloc Paladin come back out.
And I don't know if Rabobson knows what type of Paladin it is. He's, the tournament's been going on for quite a while now, so a lot of players, I think, do kind of know each other's decks at this point. Excuse me. But I think actually the Zoo is the proper pick to go up against that Murloc Paladin. It can match it in the early game, and it, of course, has some really amazing tools to kind of push into the late game. So, yeah, I like this. I like this pick by Rabobson.
Yeah, and he has 2 1-drop demons in his hand. He can throw that Patches back.
Now, this is an interesting scenario. Without the coin, do you keep 2 1-drops? Picks up his Gul'dan right away. Not necessarily the card he was looking for, but... Okay, there you go. Now he's got 2 1-drops to play on turn number 2, so... has the ability to match up pretty well. Murloc Tidecaller is going to come down. So the perfect draw now for the Word would be to draw into 2/3 Buffy Murloc a dude. But even in that scenario, this is a lot of power quickly, and there's a Flame Imp. He can play that with a life tap on turn 3. Interesting card here. He's got Zubots in this deck. I kind of like this. We haven't seen this card used very much in a long time.
Oh, I haven't either, but we're seeing it get value right now, that's for sure.
Alright, so a tap and then another Flame Imp. Could decide against the Flame Imp. Might go for the Firefly, but no, just wants to go ahead and put the most power on board he can now. I like that. Just want to hold the board. Just want to be the guy with... Oh, and there's the Rockpool Hunter. That's the card he wanted on 2. Might have to just drop another Zubot here, because you definitely don't want to just throw away your War Leader.
No, you do not. And that's why I like the Flame Imp coming down as opposed to the Firefly, because otherwise the Word might consider just chucking out that War Leader.
Oh, taps into the Patches again.
Oof.
Blasted Patches.
I mean, he was not fighting pirates. It was bound to happen.
Yeah. This is one of the things that I'm looking forward to when the Mean Streets of Gadgets and rotates out, is because right now we have Patches and Keleseth in a lot of decks, right? And so a lot of times, like, it feels like the games are decided based on who draws Keleseth and doesn't draw Patches, and it's one of those feels bad man kind of cards. Here we see the captain, instead of getting a free Patches, he has to actually pay 1 whole mana for it. But we're seeing a lot of jockeying for the board back and forth, and there's a nice pickup now as he can play Rockpool Hunter plus Murloc War Leader this turn. One good thing though I kind of like putting the Rockpool on the War Leader instead. Yeah.
Yeah, an insurance policy on your War Leader, and especially if you're going to take that, I mean, yeah.
The beauty here, though, is that Rabobson has this is one of the biggest reasons why Cairn has made a huge comeback now. Cairn into Bone Mare. It is just such a fantastic 6 into 7 combination, and it could just outright win you the game. So I think this is what Rabobson now is banking on, is that this is just going to be enough power to just swing this board back.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to deal with it?
Well, you might deal with it by dropping Curator into Lich King. I mean, that's not bad. But
That's true, but you have to. You're going to take your next 2 turns to deal with that after.
Yeah.
After this Cairn already gets +4/+4 taunted up.
Yeah. So yeah, he's going to do this. He can kill the War Leader, and then he still has 5 health remaining on this Cairn, so it's a lot of health to chew through. And of course, the Curator doesn't add anything to the board, so he has to use basically his entire board to get through 1/2 of Cairn here. Does draw a lot of cards, though. That's a huge amount of resources the Curator picks up. Now that the Cobalt Scalebane is a card that's in a lot of these decks.
Yeah.
Because before people were running, they were trying to figure out what to do as far as that dragon was concerned, right? You saw people running Deathwings and weird stuff like that. I think we're going to see a
Scalebane was definitely a sleeper of this entire set. It was something I saw so much in Arena in the early days of Frozen Throne, and now I'm seeing so much of it in Constructed.
Oh, it's everywhere now, yeah. I don't
all over the place.
think you ever Soulfire, because you definitely don't want to get rid of this Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
No, not at this point.
Just a double attack makes a giant board. And suddenly the word is looking a little bit... I mean, the deck he's running doesn't run Consecrate. But if he finds Death and Decay here, that could do it. Oh, there's the Death and Decay. Oh my goodness
gracious me. But actually, how much value is it going to get? He's going to have to sack...
Wow, there goes the Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
I
think in that situation, you just kind of had to do it. Oh, the Crystal Weaver's pretty good here. I wonder if he's even thinking about the Death and Decay. Now, Death and Decay suddenly got a lot weaker with that Crystal Weaver, because it buffed two demons out of range.
Right. He's going to lose... The Bone Mare, that hurts, but it was already at 1 health. You're kind of expecting it to go away at some point anyway, and losing your 2/1/2s, nobody cares.
Yep. So actually, Death and Decay is not going to be enough here. I think that's just going to wrap things up. I don't see a way out here. He can play 2 Murlocs and a Gentle Megasaur and hope to find Taunt. That's basically the only out here. He needs to find Taunt. Does not find it, and that means Rebobson's going to win this game. We're going to go to game number 5. We've got a fantastic finals brewing here.
That was an emotional game for it. That Death and Decay. It's like you said. It's like, oh, that Death and Decay, if that comes out, and he gets it. But then the Crystal Weaver play, which I wasn't even considering, just clinches it for Rebobson there. So we're going to game number 5 between the Word and Rebobson. And these great Hearthstone tonight, dude.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Community tournament.
This is fantastic. So we've got a Druid now for Rebobson, and I'm gonna guess Jade. And we've as we said, we've got the Murloc Paladin here for the Word. So
yeah, I mean, we have seen an aggro Druid, but that I wouldn't put my money on it if I had to guess what the archetype's going to be.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because who was playing the aggro Druid? Was it the Word?
I believe it was the Word's opponent.
No, it was the Word. Because he used it to. I think it was one of the decks he used to beat the quest mage.
Oh, you are right. You're right. Because I'm thinking of who was top, who was bottom when we had the Word on top when we were watching.
Yeah. So it is Jade, though. We see the Jade Idol. We see the Wild Growth here. Got a nice start for the Word, though. He's going to go chum directly into a buffed Rockpool Hunter. And I think we're going to see, now that the Jade Blossom was picked up, Wild Growth. You coin the Wild Growth. It goes directly to 3 mana, and then you can play the Jade Blossom and ramp up one more time. There's a Blessing of Kings, though. This could get out of hand before Rebobson has a chance to respond.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a slower Jade Druid start. It's going to look like old Jade Druid.
That being said, though, he'll go to 5 mana if he can find something like a Nourish on the next draw. He can Nourish plus Wrath and get rid of one of these minions right away. Here comes a Zubat, though. It's going to buff at least one of these. And I think we're just going to see Face being the place. Yep. The Word is going to say, I'm just going to put... Okay, there's the Spreading Plague.
That will help.
That will help quite a bit. And we're going to probably see some minions removed with these Wraths. You can actually draw with 1 Wrath on the 3/2. And then use the 1/1 to clean that up. And then use the other Wrath just to kill off the 3/3. The problem is, do you really want to clear that much of the board when you're about to Spreading Plague? I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it seems because we have all the information, the complete picture. We know the Blessing of Kings is most likely going to be dropped on that Rockpool Hunter, Rockpool Hunter next turn. So it seems bad after that top deck of the Spreading Plague.
Yeah, so this sets up essentially 2-turn clock from here. So he has to just drop a 1 taunt Spreading Plague and somehow hope that he can find something on the next draw. A Finge of the Flying Star is actually a really nice pickup because it is turn 5. He can play that. That's a minion that can't be removed the very next turn. Sunkeeper Tarim might help him get through some more stuff. So let's see. Could go for...
Ray Bobson is just...
I think he's just dead. I think he's just dead. He can go ahead and Wrath for 1 and hope to find something, but yeah, that's gonna do it. There's 10 damage on the other side. And that's it. Oh my goodness. You see what can happen sometimes in this matchup is the Murlocs can get out to such a fast start, but there's just nothing that can be done. And there you go, guys. The Word is our champion. Fantastic back and forth play between these two, though. You know, we went to all 5 decks, or all 3 decks, excuse me, from each player. So yeah,
all 5 games, all 3 decks.
It was well earned from both players, and wow, congratulations to the Word. I can't say that looking at the lineups that there was one in particular that had a bigger advantage. I thought possibly Jade would, but there you see, this is why Jade Druid, even though it's a very powerful deck, the nerf to Innervate was pretty strong, actually.
It was a volatile matchup in either direction. If the Word did not have the strong aggressive opening that he had, the Druid really just needed one more turn of breathing space before it started getting on board.
Well, the Grimscale Chum into the Rockpool Hunter is such a fast start when the Rockpool Hunter is your only Murloc in your hand, because it comes out as a 3/4. And then it buffs your other minion into a 3/2, right? Your 1-drop into a 3/2. So it's just one of those things where that's just so much early pressure. And, Druid likes to sit there and do nothing for a while, right? They want to just spend their time ramping and then hope that the Spreading Plague and everything like that will turn the board back. But you saw he cleared a bunch of minions thinking that, maybe the next turn was going to be a reload for the Word. But instead it was just Blessing of Kings on the single minion that was left. So that did it. I mean, that was just enough. 1 minion with 8 attack and 9 health, smashing your face over and over again. It's pretty hard to deal with as a Druid.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is, and he had 2 Wraths, so he had his early game removal, but it's not enough when the buffs are coming out like that. The Zubots actually caused some serious issues. Yeah, the
Zubots actually were kind of interesting. It's a card that I think a lot of people thought was pretty jokey after, when it came out with, it was Karazhan, right? When we had the kind of menagerie cards coming out. It was like, oh, okay, a menagerie deck, right? But here you see, like, you kind of got a menagerie deck already now because the Cobalt Scalebane. It was the Cobalt Scalebane that really made it so that a Zubot suddenly made sense again. Now you're adding a dragon that is just good on its own, whether or not you have Zubot. And so now, okay, I'll hit 1 Murloc, 1 dragon. Maybe I'll even hit the 2 beasts that I run in the deck. So yeah, suddenly that card does make a lot of sense in the deck, and I actually haven't messed with it, so I know what I'll be trying on the ladder.
Yeah, it's because, like you mentioned, the Scalebane. I'm thinking to myself, oh, Zubot, maybe it's just really good in a tournament environment like we're seeing here. But no, everyone is running Scalebane, so why not give it a shot?
Sure. So that means that the Word is going to not only get the $20 BattleNet gift card, but will also get a custom mug made by Barbecue Master, aka Johnny-O. And he makes one for each taco, and it's got its own special design. So nobody else will ever have this ever again. You will be the only one who ever has it. So congratulations, it's a really cool prize. But the top 4 will also be getting $20 gift cards, and then I'll be picking 2 random participants from who actually played. Let me make sure that that's clear. If you didn't show up today, or you forfeited a match, then you will not be eligible for the the 2 random $20 gift cards.
Yeah.
In fact, why don't we go ahead and just let's go ahead and give those away right now. I'll go ahead and just we'll go ahead and just zoom in here, and we'll do like a little random number generation. Okay, where did it go? Where did it go? Hold on. I gotta find this again.
I'm just having I'm having fun that there are folks in the chat room that have never seen me before.
I've never seen you before. they don't catch the show live, right? So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So let's see here. So okay, I can see all the people who actually participated. So I will just let me see. We have 1 through, I believe the number is, I think we went all the way to 119. So I'll just random roll. I'll just random roll on random.org between those numbers, and then we will pick a winner based on that.
Who's it gonna be?
All right, so the first number that we've got is Rebobson. Okay, no, we're not giving it to Rebobson. You already got one. Let's go again. Let's go again. All right, and the winner is this time 94 Munkle Zunky. Munkle Zunky. All right,
why be a Munkle Zunky?
Let me make a note of that real quick here. I'll just do it on my phone. Munkle Zunky. I remember he was in the chat earlier, asking me some questions and stuff. So I know he participated. Munkle's... wait. How does he spell this? Munkle Zunky. Alright, got it. Just the way you think you would spell it. Alright, and then we'll roll for the second winner.
Am I eligible, Dills? Can I just throw my name in there real fast?
You didn't participate in the tournament, Garrett. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's unfortunate.
And the second winner is number 43. Who's 43? Yeah, zoom in. I can't see. This guy looks like 48. Is that actually 43 or 48? 43, Nick 1677. Nick. All right, there we go. So those are our random winners. Thanks to everybody who participated. It's awesome that we had so many players this time around, and hopefully that means, and hopefully everybody had a really good experience, and wants to come back again next time we do this. So, what I'm gonna try to do this time is plan a date really early on, so that people can kind of look to the future and know that it's coming. In maybe like mid-February or something like that. Because this time, like, all of a sudden it was like, oh, wait a minute, we haven't done one yet, and the new set's coming out. So we had to kind of, get it together real quick. But it worked out fine. I thought it went fabulously. We didn't have very many problems. We had like a few people who didn't show up, and then we had to, figure that out. But
well, you got to figure out buy rounds and stuff like that. It happens.
And actually, the first time that I ran it was, the first time I took over from Jocelyn, we had a much smaller field, so it was really easy. All of a sudden, with like 120 people or something like that, it was like a little more complex. I had to be at the keyboard a lot more than last time. But everybody was really nice. Nobody was being jerks about any issues they were having. So thank you guys all for being cool and working with us. So I thought it was really, really fantastic. So the people who are in the top 4, you will get an email from us. The winner, you will get an email asking for your address and everything like that, and we will be all good. So once again, congratulations to the Word, but congratulations to all of our top 4. And Garrett, thanks for joining me for the cast here.
Yeah, thanks for letting me jump in after you did all the work all day, dude.
It's my pleasure. This will be really awkward casting an entire top 4 by myself. So it's nice to have a partner for that.
always
the other stuff you don't need an extra person for it, to be honest. It's just literally like What I actually did is I sat and I played Shadows of Mordor for a while and just, waited for somebody to have an issue. So totally
that sounds a good plan. It's also worth always noting too, if you'd like to volunteer and help deal with things like players that don't show up and whatnot, so that Dills can continue to play Shadow of War, let us know. tacpodcast@gmail.com. Put a taco volunteer in the subject line if you ever want to help us run one of these.
Absolutely. That's it'd be super cool to just be able to just do like some of the initial legwork and then be able to just kind of hang out and maybe even spectate, maybe even stream some more of the games, that would be definitely possible if we had some other people helping out. So anyway, that's gonna do it, I think. So this has been a lot of fun. We will see you guys on the Angry Chicken every Tuesday. We're now doing it at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, we're doing it at 3 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. for you, Dills, which you are Central.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So check us out there. Check me out at twitch.tv/WillieDills, at WillieDills on Twitter. And Garrett, you are?
Garrett Art on Twitter, and all the podcasts, including Angry Chicken, is over at amove.tv.
Sweet. All right. That's going to do it. And see everybody later. Peace out.
Job's done.
Yeah, job's done.